Again, my name is Brad Averill, and I'm a Family and Consumer Science Agent in Madison and Oglethorpe County. And I like to start each of my classes off with a brain teaser or an icebreaker. We've been sitting for a little while today, and probably honestly through the last 2,000 Zoom meetings over the past month. So everyone go ahead and stand up for me. I'm going to stand up myself, and I'll adjust my camera. I'm going to show you 3 quotes on the screen about health and wellness, and I need each of you to guess what year all 3 of these quotes came from. They all came from the same person in the same year. Next slide, please. The first quote is, "The habits of physical exercise have decreased. There has been an entire change in the habits of this nation within the last 30 years. Next slide. "We eat and give our children to eat large quantities of sugar as was never heard of in former generations." Next slide. "In the early days, children worked with their parents, but these days the greater portion of parents, when they send their children to school, require little or no work from them." You can go ahead and sit down. I just wanted to give everybody a nice little break. Next slide, please. This quote actually came from Catherine Beecher in a manual called Physical Training, the Health of Teachers and Pupils from 1856. Next slide. Here's a photo from an excerpt from her manual. The concept of the manual was simple: machine-free exercises to improve your fitness levels. It's been over 175 years since this manual came out, and the concept of an active lifestyle is still the same, but I'm not sure that we've improved in terms of our health and wellness. I'm really not sure what Catherine Beecher would think when she saw today's society and the amount of sugar and the little amount of physical activity that we are getting, but that's what we are here for today. Next slide. Eating right and staying active are 2 ways in which we can improve the health and wellness of ourselves and for our families. So let's start eating right. Improved meal planning and meal preparation are 2 excellent starting points. Taking inventory of your current groceries and making a list will help you make the most of your trip to the store. Empty shelves, I'm sure, as most of you have seen, are becoming more common with certain products like rice and beans, pasta, and flour. When you do see these items, make sure that they are first on your list and only buy what you need. It's okay to stock up, but hoarding makes it hard for others to prepare healthy meals. Here are a few examples on the right of meal preparation that's been done in our house. We make breakfast burritos one morning, once a month. It costs about $35 and it makes 90 burritos. It may seem monotonous to eat the same breakfast every single morning, but we kind of consider that part of our daily routine, and it helps us budget and make sure we're eating the proper amounts for breakfast. We've also made prepared chicken thighs with Brussels sprouts and sweet potatoes. Meal preparation, we like to do it in our house. It saves time and money. It can be a little tedious when you have to spend all day cooking, but when done in conjunction with meal planning, it can be really, really beneficial for your family. Next slide. A silver lining to all this COVID pandemic and the shelter in place is the time we get to spend at home with our families. It's important to emphasize the shelter in place and not shelter inside. There's a wide variety of activities that we can do to stay active while at home. Prior to getting started with a new activity routine, it's important to set goals. There's a famous quote, I believe it's from a football coach or somebody much smarter than me, that said, "A goal without a plan is just a wish." This is especially important in today's world where your schedule at home may be more variable than normal. Walking or running with your family is probably the easiest starting point to increasing your physical activity levels. The entire family can participate and you can set your own pace. Gardening and landscaping is also a great way to improve your activity levels and beautify your home at the same time. You can also use yoga, Pilates, stretching, or bodyweight exercises to improve your activity levels while away from your local gym or fitness center. As Ali mentioned before, when you look around your neighborhood, almost every household is walking every single day. We usually only have 1 or 2 walkers in our neighborhood, but we've seen neighbors that we've not even met before out and walking. In the event of a rainy day and you're stuck inside, you can still use an under-the-desk foot peddler. The members of my Prevent T2 Diabetes Lifestyle Change program, they use these things daily, and they hold little competitions. They're only about 25 bucks at Walmart. Eventually, when we do get back to normal, I hope that these new activity routines continue on. Next slide. Some of the best resources that we have available are right here from the great work of our family and consumer science agents and specialists. We have taken this opportunity to develop new ways of learning, and we have gotten off to the races. Across the state, new material is posted to social media and to our COVID-19 resource page on a daily basis. This distance learning approach will help the members of our community and the people across the country. A few weeks ago, a professor at Rutgers University reached out to me to see if I would be okay with him sharing my gardening and landscaping physical activity program that he saw on LinkedIn. This is great brand exposure for UGA Extension, and more importantly, it can't hurt as a footnote on the bottom of your dossier. As family consumer science agents, our job is to help the members of our communities, and those members of our communities include the other faculty and staff. Whenever you see a post from your colleague, make sure you like it, share it, and comment on their post. It might not mean much to you, but it will mean the world to the agent to put that time and effort into creating the content. Next slide. Also, make sure to check out USG Well-Being. This site offers free health and wellness learning opportunities, activity tracking, and other support. I'm introducing a step challenge to this health and wellness webinar group for next week. I will invite everyone that attends or logs into today's session to join that step challenge. This weekday step challenge will start on Monday and go through Friday evening. This is a great way to connect with colleagues from across the state and rejuvenate a little bit of that little competitive spirit that I know each of us have and we might not have been able to utilize. The process of logging on and setting up an account only takes a few minutes, and it can be a great way to monitor your health and wellness. Simply adding friends to your USG Well-Being network, connecting a self-monitoring device, and taking the health assessment can give you well-being credits of up to $100. Now you're helping your waistline and your wallet. Next slide. Kiz Adams hosts a Pilates and yoga class almost every day via Zoom. When I logged in on Monday, I noticed that there were 55 people watching, and hopefully they were participating and not just watching. Kiz was out front with this idea and has been doing a fantastic job of keeping our minds and bodies healthy. Make sure to check out our class today after our webinar at 12 o'clock. Today's class is Pilates. I hope to see all of you there. Next slide. Corporate gyms and fitness centers across the state and country have responded to the COVID-19 pandemic by offering free Zoom classes. You'll see this from almost all of your local gyms, YMCAs, Planet Fitness, or other fitness centers. Zumba, yoga, group exercise, cardio, and strength training can be found relatively easy with a few simple searches on your computer. Check with your local gym first to see what they are offering. We can still show support for our local businesses even if we're not walking through the doors and using the machines. Next slide. Self-monitoring apps are easily accessible through your phone, tablet, or computer. Wearable fitness trackers have been available for a long time now, and they're fairly inexpensive. MyFitnessPal is a great example of a tool that you can use to track your nutritional intake and your exercise output. Almost all the apps, especially in today's society, are free with the basic versions and are completely sufficient in those basic free models to help you start a new healthy lifestyle routine. The most important part that I want to cover today is about behavior change. Each of us has the opportunity to start a new health and wellness routine. If we make smart goals and stick to those routines, eventually, if we do them consistently, they become habits. Hopefully, with enough repetition, those habits will become lifelong behavior changes. Let's work together with our families, colleagues, and friends to improve the lives of ourselves, our families, and our communities. I really want to thank everybody for the time today. It was my pleasure to speak. If you are still standing, please feel free to sit down. I may or may not have left that out on purpose. Have a wonderful day, everybody.